Now to discuss, Ricoh Danielson, U.S. Army combat veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan and national security expert. Ricoh, great to have you back with us. So both Secretary Scott Bessent and Secretary Rubio today indicating that a deal on the Strait of Hormuz could be imminent. Let's have a look.
We are in talks with the Iranians, and I think there is a chance we may have a deal today or tomorrow to open the strait and move towards a more normalized position in this conflict.
I think that there's a conversation and a negotiation that we are involved in between Oman and Iran on how more ships can be able to go through there safely in the short term as we move towards these longer term talks about denuclearization.
Ricoh, tell us if you could, what does the traffic through the strait look like right now, and what would a deal on it likely involve at this point?
Right now, the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz is very tenuous, right? So you have multiple different sides. Imagine going down a very narrow alleyway filled with landmines and artillery shells from both sides, from Yemen and Iran, being shot at indiscriminately. So it's very tenuous. And what this means is that the United States is pressuring Iran with the help of 14 other nations to say, hey guys, we need to come to a deal here, maybe even a ceasefire, allow international passage to allow the global economy to keep thriving. And that's what that conversation topic is going on right now.
Bloomberg citing anonymous sources saying that Iran may allow European nations to help demine the straits. What would that entail, and how much capability does Iran have left in your assessment?
So let's start with that second question. Iran's capability is diminishing by the day. The hammer of the United States is just hammering away. And that's going to be the problem for the Iranians, that they're not going to have any self-sustainability, let alone to fight their own regional battles. So they kind of need to come to the deal a little bit more, a little bit faster on top of that. The other part is, they're going to allow European unions and also European countries to come over there and clear up the Strait of Hormuz. That is a big, heavy lift, and you're talking about a 2-mile span on both sides that empower the passage of these goods, the economic movement of the world global economy, right? And there needs to be a lot more stabilization, but this is going to require different nations and different countries to step forward and help out.
Yesterday, the president said that he's giving Iran every last chance to reach a deal before complete decapitation. What options does the Trump administration have to proceed with now, given the untrustworthy nature of Iran?
So the Trump administration and the United States and the world has to proceed with a lot of caution, and they know that more than likely Iran is going to go back on their word like they have been. They're going to sign the deal, they're going to go back on the word, and then they start, indiscriminately firing on their own neighbors, and it just makes no sense. One thing I would have to say to the Trump administration, to the world, is that we have to have a backup plan, and whether that's enforcement or adherence or compliance, we have to push those agendas.
Last question for you, Ricoh. So we know that Iran's economy was in dire straits prior to the war. Their lifeblood, crude oil, has been essentially cut off for the past, 6 months. Talk to us about what is sustaining the economy right now? Who's paying the IRGC?
So different countries, probably in regards to China, more than likely Russia, they're infusing them, they're floating the bank for so long. But one thing Iran has to be very mindful is that they actually have probably a 6 to 9 month span of funds until they actually go into an economic deficit. So this actually can push them to come to a better deal and make even a deal at that. But we have to really worry about is, what are the payback terms if Russia and China give them money? What does that look like? Is it military support? Is it regional support? How is that going to go on the world economic stage?
That's a great point. Ricoh Danielson, great to have you. Thank you.